right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. And I see we've got a Central Time folk in the house. Hey, Rick, how's it doing? We've got an East Coaster, too. Hey there, Shock, how you doing? Shock coming in, letting us know that we've got the gear. Looks like we've got another Central Time person, Rick. Or excuse me, I already said Rick. Darlene is who's coming in, and Rick and Darlene are a great pair from that Central Time coast. Haven't been around for the last couple days because they've been up in their wonderful cabin getting away from it all. But last night, able to head on down and join everyone here for Statterbox at the cinema for a silly, silly movie. But today is not Statterbox at the cinema. It is Chatter with Statter. I am Mad Statter, and why don't we just get this party started? Looks like Gina has slid in just as I was getting that party started. Rick, just watching a sun shower. Nice, nice. We don't get many of those around here, so we don't actually, apparently, I was reading one day, I guess there's different terms for raining while it is sun shining out. There's different terms around the country for what that means. So you call it a sun shower, which to me seems like the most logical. But I guess there's one where, like, the devil's taking a shower, or, like, they've got all sorts of different, apparently there's different terms for that, depending upon where you are in the country. So if you guys have, like, a localism to describe a sun shower, I'm very curious to hear what it might be. And, Gina in the house, like I said earlier, but you know what? I don't really know if Gina's on East Coast, Central Coast, because I always call it the Central Coast, even though you can debate the coast. I don't know if Gina's all East Coast or not. I had a feeling she was, and coming in with the answer, yes, indeedy, East Coast. All right there. So let's see here. Darlene talking about, yeah, it was different. There's a lot of humidity in the air, so skies let some of that humidity out today. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And so, okay, Shock, you're saying that you just said it's raining, but the sun is out. Right. Okay. Well, it was like a, you know, if I'd known I was going to go off on this topic, I would have had more info on it. But you never know where the chatter is going to scatter. And this is a perfect example. There was some sort of like online quiz where they were asking you how you pronounced things or what you called certain phenomena. And then it would guess where you lived. And one of the questions was about raining while it was still sunny out. And they had a couple different terms, and I remember one of them was sun shower, but they also very specifically had, we don't have a name for this, or no, you know, we don't call this anything special or whatever. And I had to choose that. I chose that because we didn't have any, in the Pacific Northwest, as far as I know, we don't have a term for that. But it looks like sun shower for the East Coast, and technically only one sun. That is right, Rick. So not too likely to be a shower of them. No. But we do see, I guess, sun showers in the form of, you know, falling stars. I mean, I know they're not really falling stars. They're meteorites, but we can pretend. Let's see here. And, so, a dad joke from Shock. Leather is great for sneaking around in because it's made of hide. Yes, there we go. All right, so Milwaukee looks like 71 degrees, not so bad, but humidity is 90%, so suddenly 71 seems a lot hotter than it really is at 90% humidity. That is for certain. You know, in the Seattle area, when it hits like 60% humidity, that's when suddenly everybody's just like, oh my God, it's so flippin' humid. And then you check the humidity and you're just like, oh, maybe we're spoiled around here. Oops. And hey, Cindy, you know what? I think you snuck in, and I think I ignored it, and I didn't mean to. So hello, Cindy Krause. Good to see you in the house. Okay, so today I thought we would talk about, let's see here, let's call it Sizzlin Sunday, shall we? And I figured that we could talk about, it's the end of the summer. We're getting to Memorial Day weekend time. And that's when all the hamburgers and the hot dogs get to sizzling on the grill. And today, I thought we could talk about hamburgers, because hamburgers is one of my favorite foods. And hamburgers, well, why not, right? It's Sizzlin Sunday. But before we get to Sizzlin Sunday, isn't 100% humidity just rain? Rick, I have wondered that myself, actually. But apparently no, because Chalk has probably got all the scientificals behind it. But no, apparently 100% humidity is not just rain. So, in your universe and in my universe, it is. But I'm not so sure anybody else lives in our universe. Yes, sirree, that is true. So I don't know if you guys remember before, but you see, we are, we're going to talk about Cindy Krause burning up first. We're going to talk about Cindy Krause sizzling, because it is Sizzlin Sunday, and your weather has told you that we're going up in a ball of flame next week. 110, they tell you. No. And even if the humidity is like negative 110% humidity, which I'm sure is not possible and might be very uncomfortable, but even still, no. And let's see here. Shock, you're saying it's just as much water as the air can hold, whether or not more water is fallen. All right, well, exactly, Rick. Either way, 100% humidity cannot be comfortable. And Darlene, you are a lady after my own heart, but I think we've already discussed that. Well, with your wonderful cookies and your wonderful granolas. So, love hamburgers, chicken, beef, turkey, even seafood patties. Oh, let me tell you, all right. I will be the first to admit that I'm a bit of a miser when it comes to spending my food dollar, right? And so when it comes to spending my money on other people making me food, it really has to be worth it as far as I'm concerned. And there is this place in West Seattle called Grillbird. It's a halal teriyaki chicken place, but they also happen to have an ebi sando, which is a Japanese sandwich of the shrimp variety. So basically what they do is they take a bunch of, deep fried shrimp, and then they chop them up. Or actually, no, what they do is they chop the shrimp up, make it into a patty, and then coat it with panko and deep fry it. So it's a shrimp patty, and then it's a hamburger. Now, this stupid hamburger costs 15 flippin' bucks. And like I said, I'm a bit of a miser. I don't like spending a lot of money. $15 for one hamburger. That doesn't include sides. That doesn't include nothing. It's just the hamburger or the shrimp burger. So it makes me very angry that I have to pay that amount. However, I am totally willing to pay that amount because it is a stupid delicious burger. Shrimp burgers for sure are delicious. So if you've never had a shrimp burger and you A, are not allergic to shrimp, or B, are not averse to the shrimp type critters to be ingesting, I suggest you try yourself a shrimp burger. And in a Japanese type restaurant, it might be advertised as an ebi sandwich, EBI, ebi sandwich. So if you see that, buy it. And panko, the electrocuted bread, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand that joke. Is that how they make Panko? However you pronounce that? Is that how they make it? Is like they electrocute it? I just thought it was their milk bread or something that they... Okay, I don't get it, but one thing I do know, Darlene can make me a salmon patty any day. And Really, Shock? They filled a mold with dough and run electricity through it to cook it? I had no idea. What? 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 I mean, I believe you because you generally know these things, but I'm making note of this because I need to read about it myself. Like, yeah, exactly, Darlene. How does it get all crumbly? So electrocuted to cook. I'm gonna look this up because, I mean, we're not gonna talk about it today because I haven't done the deep dive research, but we just might have a Panko party one Wednesday or something. Cause yeah, this is shenanigans. This is just, I'm all in a kerfuffle at this point. I'm not so sure I understand. Like, so, all right, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to stop asking all these questions. No, I'm not. So, like, do they stick wires in the dough or something? Or do they electrocute the pans? And how did they think of this? I mean, I have a lot of questions. Boy, oh boy, I have a lot of questions. So I guess I'll have to look into it before, because I can't imagine that Shock's going to know everything off the top of her head. Although generally speaking, Shock does know everything off the top of her head, but this is a bit of a deep dive. Yeah, exactly, Darlene. I'm not saying it's not true, nor am I. I'm just not really sure how they do that. Like, what in the flying fork is going on there? Okay, so Shock is giving us the link to the lowdown. Now, I'm not going to be exploring the link to the lowdown right now. Eventually I will, but if y'all want to click that little link wherever the link may be for you, then by all means, you can do your homework ahead of the game and you'll be ready for next class or something. Cause I am definitely going to be looking into this. I mean, like, what? That's just insane. But, you know, every place does things a little bit different. And on that note, I guess, why don't we start talking about Sizzlin Sunday? Because we've got a lot of burgers to cover. And I'm not talking like every burger in the world that we're going to be covering today, but these are hamburgers that are regional and specific enough that even websites and magazines like Food and Wine and Bon Appetit recognize them as legit styles of burger. And so basically we're going to be talking about a couple different regional varieties. But before we do that, we've got a little bit of details about the Panko. So let's talk about that first. Electric Panko. That sounds like fun making it home project for me. See, I was thinking it sounded more like the name of a new wave band or something. And so Shock's saying it was a cooking method based on necessity while Japan fought Russia and they needed a way to cook without using traditional methods. Okay. All right. Weirder things have happened. That's true. And yes, so it is burger time. There we have it. All right. So before we start the burger discussion, you know how I feel about maps. And you know we're going to have a map because we can't have a stream without a map. Well, I guess we can. We've probably had a couple streams without maps, but we've got a map today. So I've got myself a map right here, okay? This is the map of the USA. You might recognize it. Now, you see all those red lips? Those red lips are where all the juicy burgers come from that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about burgers from Connecticut. We're going to be talking about burgers from Milwaukee. We're going to be talking about burgers from Minnesota. We're going to be talking about burgers from Oklahoma. We're going to be talking about burgers from Mississippi. That's right, Mississippi burgers, dude. We're going to be talking about the burgers. Because burgers are enjoyed everywhere. Everywhere they are enjoyed. Now, we've already talked about the Minnesota burger, but I'm gonna show you a picture. So we've already talked about the Minnesota style burger, and the Minnesota burger is the Juicy Lucy. Now, the Juicy Lucy, as you guys can probably tell from these delectable pictures, is a cheeseburger where the burger surrounds the cheese. The cheese is built into the burger. It's a cheesed stuffed burger. And this is a burger that was started out in Minnesota. And for those of you who've been on this stream for the past year or so, we've talked a lot about Minnesota food traditions. We talked about the hot dish. We talked about tater tot casseroles. We talked about the Juicy Lucy. I'm sure we've talked about other things too, but the Juicy Lucy by far is the go-to for the Minnesota food yumminess. So we already talked about the Juicy Lucy. This is the Juicy Lucy. It is considered a legitimate regional style of burger that like I said, Bon Appetit and Food and Wine both recognize this as the burger. And Cindy Krause, tell me about it. That cheese drip in those photos, I mean, it's just, if I end up drooling during this particular stream, y'all, will you let me know? Because yeah, that was some mouth-watering deliciousness, right? Okay, so we have talked about that. Now, we've also vaguely talked about the Milwaukee traditional burger, and that is the butter burger. So y'all see that white sauce on top of that burger patty? Yeah, that was butter. They put butter as a topping on the burger. That white glaze there, that's butter. And so not only is it burger on the top, or excuse me, butter on the top for a butter burger, of course there's butter on the buns that are grilled. And then apparently some people actually even mix chunks of butter in with their patty meat. So that is the little butter burger topic. However, Rick is saying that in Milwaukee, now Milwaukee is where the butter burger is determined to be from. So Rick knows about good burgers because good burgers come from where Rick lives. But Rick says you also got a good little burger chain in Milwaukee, but of course it's called Milwaukee Burger and 36 beers on tap. I'll tell you what, Rick, I know that you don't live in Milwaukee, but it sounds like it's a chain. And if I ever come visit you in Wisconsin, I think that maybe you need to take me to Milwaukee Burger. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I can only assume that at Milwaukee Burger, they've got the butter burger, right? Right? You better tell me right. And yeah, the butter burger definitely looks like it's a 5-napkin eating experience. Absolutely. Abso-flippin'-lutely, dude. And Darlene, Culver's does make a great burger. Good to know because oddly enough, so this is kind of funny, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to anyway. Where did it go? Okay, so this burger, all right, so there's Culver's, and they're, the fast food version of, or they're a fast food chain, clearly. Now, this picture of the butter burger was not taken at a fast food chain, and I did not include the review that came with that picture because the review was scathing. I mean, they were just like, this burger had no seasoning, and if you depend on your customers to provide seasoning, you are a failed cook. Apparently this burger actually didn't taste very good, but that burger didn't come from Culver's. That burger did not come from Culver's. Culver's, on the other hand, home of the butter burger at its best, or so the sign says. Yes, so I think they would have been better off going to Culver's, but this was the best picture I could get of butter on the butter burger. So, bad restaurant review, be damned, I still showed the picture. And I don't remember who the restaurant was, so I can't tell you where not to go, but I can tell you it was not Culver's. So I can tell you can listen to Darlene. Of course you can listen to Darlene. And she says Culver's is good. We're going to know Culver's is good. And let's see here. Darlene's saying that there's multiple burger choices at Milwaukee Burger, and you can create the burger of your own. Oh, that is a dangerous proposition, though, for me, Darlene, because it's just like, of course I want onions. Of course I want them grilled. Of course I want grilled mushrooms. Of course I want the bacon. Of course I want the cheese. Of course I want that kind of cheese, too. But wait, don't I need this, too? And I need the pickles. And suddenly I've got a burger that's like 18 feet tall. I mean, I'm not saying that there's necessarily anything wrong with a burger that's 18 feet tall, but I am saying, like, sometimes less is more, and I never can. If I am left with the responsibility of building my own burger, less is more never really comes into play. Yeah, no. And let's see here. Rick is saying that Milwaukee did not originate the Culver's brand. It was a small town west of Madison called Salt City. Okay, now, Rick, I am definitely not arguing that statement, and I'm glad you clarified. When I meant the Butterburger was from Milwaukee, from what I read, the Butterburger in particular was a Milwaukee creation. Culver's just does a dang good Butterburger, and so they're from Salt City. There we go. Now, what I read on the interwebs might not be true. The Butterburger might not have come from Milwaukee, but on my little map that I've got right here, showing you where some of the lips are right by Milwaukee because I was told that the Butterburger was from Milwaukee. So, looks like Picola T is listening in the car, hopefully at a stoplight where she was able to say, listening at the car, but now I'm driving so I can be safe and I'm not really paying attention to the stuffs on the screen. But regardless, even if she's being a risky driver, which we hope she's not, hey Picola T, good to see you here. We're talking about, it's Sizzlin Sunday today, and we're talking about hamburgers. Specifically, the 5 regional burgers that I decided to highlight today because they're apparently legit regional burgers. Oh, good, you're just a passenger. Okay, so then you can take a look at the map of all the places where the burgers come from that we're talking about today. That's right. And Darlene, if I ever come out to Wisconsin, it will take me to I get to go to Milwaukee Burger. Excelente. And yeah, honestly, Rick, the beer menu before the food menu, duh. And we might have to spend a while going through the pre-food menu, like maybe several courses before we finally get to the food. So there you go. And Cindy Krause, you don't see any lips in California. That is true. There is such thing. Okay, you guys, check this out. There's actually a Wikipedia page that's listing the types of hamburgers. I didn't know this until today. So it's literally a Wikipedia page of like all these different kinds of hamburgers. And there is obviously such thing as a California burger. But the reason why I didn't choose a California burger was because basically the California burger had more to do with the kind of toppings that was on it as opposed to the preparation style. Because California burger is, grilled, fried, whatever, but it's what's on it that makes it its thing. Just like a teriyaki burger is a type of burger, but we're not going to talk about a teriyaki burger today because everybody knows you can just grill up a burger and put teriyaki sauce, and then you've got a teriyaki burger. And by the way, did you notice I did not put a pineapple on the teriyaki burger? Because why would you do that? But that's a different story. So that is why you don't see any lips in California. These are all burgers today that are like, okay. These are burgers that are definitely the non-traditional. The Butterburger probably would be the closest to a traditional burger that we're going to talk about today. Just trust me on that one. So, oh, Darlene, there's appetizers there too. Well, it sounds like we might need to make Milwaukee Burger an all-day, all-night event. Let's see here. Oh, Picola T, this is a fun coincidence. We're keeping a score sheet in the glove box. Our ratings for burgers and fries on the island. 3 down, 10 to go. Oh, awesome. I am way more interested in that than I really should be. And I might have to shoot you an email asking you or actually, you know what? I'm not going to shoot you an email. I'm going to ask you right here. So, what are your, who are you going to visit? Who are the contenders? I guess is what I'm asking. You don't have to give me your ratings yet or ever, but I'm just curious, who are the contenders? And then, so let's see here. Okay. All right, Cindy Krause. So we got to get my friend Mary's famous meatloaf burger further rep than San Miguel. All right, so I've never heard of a meatloaf burger. And it was not, to my recollection, a type of burger on the list of burgers that Wikipedia has. So we might have to, we might have to create a whole new, we might have to bring Mary's meatloaf burger into the forefront of the burger world so she can get on that list on Wikipedia. So, I'm going to have to look that up. Now, Darlene, is it safe to assume that she sells this commercially and it's not just my friend Mary makes this burger? Because if it's my friend Mary makes this burger, that's just not really the same. On the other hand, I'd still eat it. I'd probably eat 5 of them. I mean, maybe not all at once, but I'd take some for later. There you have it. So, okay, cool. You will, Picola T, you'll send me the criteria you're using. Plenty of things to assess, I'm sure. Rick, hope that list isn't top secret. Exactly, because you know what happens to people who take top secret paperwork where they shouldn't. They get forced to watch a 1984 film called Top Secret by Val Kilmer. That's what happens to those people. Or not, but whatever. That's what happened last night. So, and let's see. So, okay, so Darlene's coming in. No, Mary's just an awesome cook. So, okay, yeah, we need to get a burger stand behind Mary to get her on that list, I think. But I definitely would like to know what a meatloaf burger's all about, because it does sound like it might be a little bit different than the traditional hamburger. Hey, the trash man cometh. How you doing today? Welcome to Chatter with Statter. I am Mad Statter. You are now part of the Statterbox crew. Thanks to your saying hello. Today we are talking about hamburgers, regional hamburgers, burgers from places all around the country, mostly actually the East Coast and Midwest. But all those little lips on that map, we're talking about burgers that came from there. So now you're basically caught up with the topic, and Cindy is now coming in with just her friend Mary. She puts peppers and onions inside the meatloaf, like meatloaf. It's a really good burger. Okay, that's cool. Oh, hey, Trash Man cometh. You're from across the pond? Well, then, hey, hang out and find out about some hamburgers that you probably didn't know existed. Because some of these burgers, I've never tried most of these burgers, actually, that we're about to discuss. So far, we've talked about, all right, Trash Man, the Trash Man cometh. We're going to get you up to date. We're going to do a little bit of a repeat. We talked about Minnesota's Juicy Lucy. Minnesota's Juicy Lucy has the cheese on the inside of the patty. And if that's not a delicious looking little cheese droplet, I don't know what is. And then the other burger we've talked about so far is what's called a butter burger. And that's from the Wisconsin area. And that white sauce on top isn't white sauce at all. It's just a pat of butter melted on top of the burger. So that's basically where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. And so now we're going to take a little bit of a little break, and I'm going to show you. You're going to get a glimpse into how my mind works and how I come up with random topics to chat and stat about here on Chatter with Statter. Yesterday on the internet, I came across this classic Simpsons video. Right? Like, how do the Simpsons even fit in this with this? Well, you see, the Simpsons had this one episode that devolved into steamed hams. And steamed hams, apparently, is a saying from New York, but just the Albany region. And it was all based on a lie. And yeah. We're going to watch a little bit of a Simpsons clip. I'm probably going to get copyright struck, but that's okay. We're going to live with it because it's a funny Simpsons clip. And for those of you who don't know about the Simpsons, cartoon that's been around for 30 some odd years, I think, at this point. And there's the principal is Principal Skinner. And the superintendent that Principal Skinner works under is Superintendent Chalmers. And Principal Skinner is very intimidated of Superintendent Chalmers. And that's basically pretty much all you need to know. So let's go watch this, and then we'll talk more about the Hamburglers.
Well, Seymour, I made it, despite your directions.
Ah, Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon.
Ah.
Oh, ye gods! My roast is ruined! But what if I were to purchase fast food and disguise it as my own cooking? Ho, 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 ho. Delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Skinner with his crazy explanations. The superintendent's gonna need his medication. When he hears Skinner's lame exaggerations, there'll be trouble in town tonight.
Seymour!
Superintendent, I was just stretching my calves on the windowsill. Isometric exercise. Care to join me?
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour?
Oh, that isn't smoke. It's steam. Steamed from the steamed clams we're having. Mmm, steamed clams.
Ooh.
Superintendent, I hope you're ready for mouth-watering hamburgers.
I thought we were having steamed clams.
No, I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers.
You call hamburgers steamed hams?
Yes, it's a regional dialect.
Uh-huh. What region?
Upstate New York.
Really? Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an Albany expression.
I see. You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no. Patented Skinner burgers. Old family recipe.
For steamed hams.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams despite the fact they are obviously grilled.
You know, one thing I should... Excuse me for 1 second.
Of course.
Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
Yes, I should be. Good Lord, what is happening in there?
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen.
Yes.
May I see it?
No.
Seymour! The house is on fire!
No, Mother, it's just the Northern Lights.
Well, Seymour, you are an odd fellow, but I must say, you steam a good ham.
Help! Help!
So, that came across my internet feeds earlier yesterday, and I remembered, hey, there is a place in Connecticut that actually makes steamed hamburgers. And the place in Connecticut is called Ted's. Now, that's the final result of what their steamed hamburgers look like. But see, world famous Ted's restaurant, steamed hamburgers, 1959. So there is such a thing as steamed hams, sorta. Now, that's the little oven that they steam them in. And they not only steam platters full of meat, like the little cases of meat right there, they also steam platters full of cheese. And so the meat gets, and that's the platter full of cheese and the platter full of meat. And so the meat gets put on the bun, and then they pour that melted cheese on top of the beef burger, and then they create this very plain looking burger. But I'll tell you, with that little cheese drop, I have to say I am definitely willing to try a world famous Ted's steamed cheeseburger, right? I mean, so even though Skinner was clearly lying through his teeth, there was an element of truth to the fact that there actually is steamed hamburgers, and steamed hamburgers, they come from Connecticut. And if the trash man cometh, I am telling you, they totally sound unusual. And I really don't know if I would like the burger itself, because for me, I really like a hamburger that has a nice sear or char on it. But I'll tell you, man, they've got me at that like bucket of melted cheese that they pour on top of it, that's what I want to try the steamed hamburger for. And Picola T, you know, that's a really good question. Aren't the White Castle burgers steamed? I don't know. I do know though that they I think that they're sort of cooked by steam, because I think the reason why they've got the little dots, the little holes in the tiny little burger patty, is so the heat and everything, like, you know, envelops. So it all cooks faster, and I don't think they have to flip those burgers. I think they like just cook on one side. But you know where I live, and we don't have a White Castle out here on the West Coast. And so East Coast people who are vaguely familiar with how White Castle works are like, tell us about those little patties. And the trash man cometh, wouldn't the bread get soggy? I think from what it looks like, let's go back, shall we? I think what they do is they drain off all that liquid from the steamed burger, because here you'll see the final burger. The burger looks like it doesn't look like it's as soggy wet as one would think. But your question, wouldn't it get soggy? Dude, I'm right there with you. Like, I'm willing to find out. If I'm ever in Connecticut, I'm willing to take the risk of a soggy bread just to give my report, shall we say. But yeah, I don't know. I am curious about that as well, actually. Because it does seem like the beef, even if drained, would still be way wetter than the traditional fried and flipped burger. And I'm really sorry that my words are not coming so easily. So I'm hoping you guys understand my made-up sign language as everything's going on. Yeah, so Ted has steamed hams, even though Ted's is Connecticut and not upstate New York. Ted's has the steamed hams, and so basically, let's see here. Okay, so now we've just got 2 more burgers that we're going to be talking about. But before we're going to talk about those burgers, I'm going to say, hey, Terry in Scotland, good to see you. Thank you for re-upping that subscription. Super stoked. And let's see here. Rick, you'll take the butter burgers at Solly's Grill since 1936 and only 5 blocks from your daughter's house. Oh, well, yeah, I think that sounds fully legit. And not only do I think that sounds fully legit, when I was going down the little internet rabbit hole for this hamburger thing, I saw Solly's Grill mentioned in the Butterburgers history. So I'm guessing, especially since 1936, yeah, that's probably going to be one of the best Butterburgers around. No offense, Carver. No offense, Carvers or Culvers or whoever the heck they are with the Butterburger. Culvers, whatever. You know, the Butterburger people. Sorry, I'm guessing that Solly's is probably better. And, Terry, you're watching the preview of this stream and me without the audio. So I'm just doing my things. and then, yeah, exactly. It's too bad. It's, too bad I don't actually know real sign language. It's just my own bastardized hand movements. And Andre, good to see you popping in. It's sort of a PBS road trip a sandwich road trip. What it actually is it's hamburgers with maps, because you know how I feel about maps. So hold on. That's right, I'm showing the map again, you guys. I already told you there would be maps. So here's the map we're working from. And so the little lips over the cities, that's where the burgers are that we're talking about. And so Ted's is in Connecticut. We just talked about Ted and he has steamed burgers. And then the Butterburger and the Juicy Lucy, those are up north. But next, we're going to be talking about the Oklahoma Onion Burger. Now, if you don't like onions, this is not the burger for you. But if you do like onions, well, gosh darn it, feast your eyes on this onion burger. Apparently, this onion burger, Oklahoma, in a place called Ardmore, Oklahoma, shall we say? And Ardmore, Oklahoma, in 1926 is when they think this burger started. And basically, as some of these burgers were made for, we'll see in the next, the next burger had this happen too. So this was made during the Depression, or right before the Depression, when things were getting a little bit wonky, and they did it to extend the amount of meat that was in the hamburger. So the ratio apparently is 1/2 of a Spanish white onion per patty was used in these burgers. And the description of this burger is the Spanish onion slices are sliced paper thin and then smashed into the meat, where the meat can sear and the onions can caramelize, and that you have the Oklahoma onion burger. And apparently, like I said, Food and Wine, Bon Appetit, they consider this absolute regional type specialty burger. And I have to say, I haven't ever seen one that's quite like that in my neck of the woods, because if I had, I love onions, and so I would eat it. Not to mention also, apparently, it created by Ross Davis. And since my last name is Davis, I'd like to think that he was a relative of mine who liked hamburgers as much as me. So there you go. And so, hey, C Honda, how you doing? Yes, that's right. It's the Burger Crew today. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland, John Steinbeck wrote about a paper-mache turkey filled with hamburgers during the Depression. I have a lot of questions about that, Terry. I mean, a lot of questions about that. But we're going to talk about that in just a second. Rick, that is a dumb joke, and I love it. Is a vegan burger called a mistake? Did you think of that? Because that's good. You need to write that down. You need to write that down. Oh, wait, you did write that down. Either way, that's funny. And Darlene, totally. Good fried onions with a burger? Totally. Sign me up for that little thing. Because, yeah, it was 5 cents worth of burger meat back in the Depression day, so who knows how much that was. And then 1/2 of a white Spanish onion sliced paper thin. So we could probably recreate that recipe in our own homes. It sounds fairly easy. But back to what Terry just said. Now, Terry, I know you make jokes a lot. And I know that you know a lot of weird stuff. That's why you hang out here. It's why we love you. So, you're already reading my mind. Are you being serious? He really did write it. Terry, you're saying, in Cannery Row, you think. Okay, so now, my next question, and maybe they don't discuss the logistics of it, but how did they... Okay, so I'm assuming that the burgers were all wrapped, because otherwise the juices from... I mean, first off, the burgers wouldn't stay together, but then how did the turkey, paper-mache turkey, not fall apart? I guess is ultimately what I'm asking. And I understand that you beat it with a stick, that's how it falls apart, but I mean before that, with the juices and stuff getting wet, how did it not just dissolve? And I don't expect you to have these details, but if you do have these details, please share them, because okay, you don't know exactly. All right, so, I can tell you this, if my piñata was filled with hamburgers, I'd be way happier than if it was filled with candy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like candy, but I like hamburgers better. And Picolati, yeah, how did it fall apart? Like a piñata. Yeah, I know how it fell apart. But I mean, before you beat it up, I feel like the turkey would have exploded, right? Clearly, I don't know what... Clearly, a fictional book written decades before I was even born must be corrected now that I've come to be aware of it, right? Right, yeah. All right, so... We've only got one more burger Abe of, hey, Abe of Assyria. Hello from Arizona. You clicked for the maps. Fantastic. You're someone after my own heart. Here's the map again. Here's the map again. It is the map of burgers, and we only have one more burger. One burger left, and it is from, where is it from? I'll tell you in a second. I know where it's from. It's from Corinth, Mississippi. And not only is it from Corinth, Mississippi, they have a festival in July that lasts 3 weekends celebrating this burger. And what is this burger called? Oh, you don't know. You don't want to know what it's called. It's gross. It's called a Slugburger. Gross. Slugburger. But Slugburgers are known also, just like the onion burger from Oklahoma. It was created to extend the meat. And so the person who invented the Slugburger had their beef or pork. Apparently, these burgers can be made with pork as well as beef. That's weird, but okay. They had the butcher back in the day. Had this butcher back in the day who he would inform his butcher, hey, the meat that I want for my burgers, I want you to grind in potato flakes and potato flour. Now, potato flakes and potato flour are no longer the standard. Now, apparently, the beef is ground up with soybean grits. I didn't even know those were a thing, but whatever. So these burgers, as you can see, these burgers aren't actually like traditionally cooked the way we think of burgers. These burgers are deep fried. They're deep fried in oil, and they're typically served with mustard and onions and pickles. But basically, it's a deep fried burger, and I guess it looks like you can kind of see on the picture, there looks to be a little bit of a crust. So it's like those soybean grits, I think, are clearly part of the thing. They're really it's not just a little bit in the meat. It's right. Abe of Assyria, it looks like a chicken patty. Absolutely. It totally, you can tell there's kind of a crust. But no, it's either beef or pork, which also makes a Slugburger a very strange burger because most burgers aren't pork, at least not around here. No, I have not talked about In-N-Out yet, you guys, because In-N-Out, like I said earlier, these burgers are styles of burgers, not necessarily associated with a particular restaurant, but associated with a region. And In-N-Out burgers, as delicious as they are, and they are still just hamburgers. They're not cooked in a weird way or cooked with a special recipe the way the Slugburger is. The Slugburger. Now, I'm guessing Rick, I think it was Rick who says, is that American cheese? I think in this picture there is American cheese on that Slugburger. But when I was reading about the Slugburger, they didn't say that cheese was necessarily part of the standard serving. The standard serving was pickles, mustard, and onion. But why not add cheese? I mean, I would add cheese. So yeah. That was the Mississippi Slugburger. Now, why is it called a Slugburger? Right. What a good question. Apparently, I've heard a couple different stories about what this is, but there used to be a wooden nickel or a wooden coin the shape of a nickel that were called slugs. And I think that I don't know how or why, but they were, I guess, worth 5 cents, just like a nickel. And the burgers cost 5 cents. So it was a burger you could get with a slug. Now, I don't understand the history of the slug, how it was used as money, but apparently it was. And so that's a whole other thing. But that is why it was named a Slugburger, not because of what you think of when I say that word, right? And and let's see here. let's see here. You have Bongo Burger, which makes lamb burger, and in India, all the McDonald's serve lamb burgers or chicken. Well, yeah, that makes sense, but that's India, and that's their take on the hamburger. Hamburgers generally started in the United States, and as a general rule of thumb, you know, most of the burgers in the United States are traditionally made with beef, and so to have this Slugburger also have an acceptable recipe with pork, it's like, okay, Mississippi, you do you. I mean, clearly, it's actually the burger was clearly made out of necessity, in the sense it's like, well, we can't get beef today, so I guess we're gonna make it with pork. We can't get pork today, I guess we're gonna make it with beef. You know, because back in the Depression era days, the supply chain was, you know, less than ideal sometimes, and so you had to work with what you had. And so Darlene, when you were in Hawaii on Oahu, the McDonald's there had a shrimp sandwich patty that they saw advertised. Yes, they have those all the time in Japan. And it's the ebi sando, like I was talking about earlier on the stream, the shrimp patty sandwich. And unfortunately, they didn't have it when I was in Oahu, and I was really bummed. Not only did they not have the shrimp sandwich, they had literally just stopped selling saimin at McDonald's because of the noodle, their inability to source the noodles. So I got to literally my first stop in Hawaii, because I didn't know where the Zippies was. As it turns out, if I had like gone, I don't know, a quarter mile further down the road, I would have seen the Zippies. But first thing I see when I'm getting off of out of the airport, basically on the route that I took, Nimitz Highway, I saw McDonald's and I just wanted a Coke. And I was like, well, I'm here, maybe I'll get some saimin. And lo and behold, they're like, no more saimin. And it was just like, that flipping sucks, but at least I'll get the Coke, because it's nice to get a Coke for $1. That's the one thing I like about McDonald's, is you can get a Coke for $1 and you're good to go. A big old sugar water, you know, thing of sugar water, and you can go. And let's see here. So Terry in Scotland, your grandfather told me that during the Depression they ran alongside jackrabbits to reach down and feel if they were fat enough. I don't know if that was a tall tale out of Texas there, Terry. I'll tell you what. Oh, that was an alliteration. I don't know. That sounds like a tall Texas tale to me, though, Terry. I mean, running as fast as a jackrabbit. I'd like to see you try, Grandpa. I'd like to see you try. Plus, I'm not so sure. I mean, jackrabbits, I suppose jackrabbits, when you're going to eat them if you can catch them. But, God, I can't imagine they'd be really good eating, right? I mean, they got to be mighty tough. A little bit sinewy, a little bit... I mean, that's a stewing rabbit, if I've ever heard of one, I guess is what I'm saying. That's a stewing rabbit. And see, Honda, I know so habut about the saimin in McDonald's. Now, for those of you who are new here, we've got a couple folks who are just like, what the flying fork is saimin? Saimin is Hawaii's version of ramen. It's a soup, basically. The noodles are a little bit different, but it's, for all intents and purposes, it's Hawaii's version of ramen. And McDonald's used to sell it, and it was delicious. But now they don't, because they can't get the noodles, and everybody's bummed. Because a lot of folks here, we all have a love for Hawaii in common. Most of the folks that you're going to see here in the Statterbucks crew are folks that have met on a different, on a different content creator stream, a gentleman named Andy Bumatai. He no longer is creating content, as he's got a couple of movies that he's making right now. So we gather around, the crew that gathered around Andy has been floating through Twitch and YouTube with Photoluke Hawaii, Terry in Scotland, Chatter with Statter. Shock's got a stream that she does on Fridays with movies. So if you want to hear about some people talking about Hawaii, well, this is definitely the crew that you want to hang out with. But I wanted to explain to you what we were talking about, because I had a feeling that someone from Arizona and someone from England might not know what saimin is. And now you know. So there you have it. And exactly, Picola T, they were running pretty quick to catch those rabbits. That's what I'm thinking as well. Grandpa, are you telling stories again, or are you just telling stories? Now we know where Terry in Scotland got his storytelling ability. That's what I can say. And let's see here. Yeah, the supply. Yeah, exactly. See, Honda, the supplier for McDonald's Simon is retiring, and they don't want to use a different source. I applaud their loyalty. I applaud their. It actually makes sense because McDonald's is so standardized in the sense that they like want everything to taste the same from store to store to from visit to visit. Risking a new supplier for the noodle could really change their Simon experience. So I can totally see why they're not. But at the same time, how but tummy. My tummy wants the soup. And let's see here, Andre, this is making me remember that old video game Burger Time. Oh, that's right, there was a video game called Burger Time. I have no idea how you played it. If anyone can remember how you played Burger Time, for some reason, okay. I really don't know what I'm talking about here. It does not surprise anyone. But you didn't like create burgers in Burger Time, right? I mean, like there was an actual, it was more than just, what was Burger Time all about, I guess? I really don't know. In my brain, I want to say it was a video game about making hamburgers, but that's about the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. So, you can quote me on that. The dumbest thing, I just said the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. They couldn't possibly have made the video game just about making hamburgers, right? And really, there was also a game called Keg as well. I definitely cannot remember seeing Keg in the video game. I'm going back through all the like pizza parlors that I went to as a kid, and all the pinball games, and all the Galaga or Galaxic or the weird one. I can't remember. I'm Centipede, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man. These are all coming. Frogger. These are all coming to life. But Keg? No, not even. And Terry, you're descended from a long line of artistic authors, shall we say? Authors, not just liars. Authors. And so let's see here. Oh, okay, wait. All right, all right. Andre clearly played this game, and I obviously was making things up in my head. The burger was on a platform, and you had to run over it to bring it down to the stove as you're being chased by animate onions and things. Okay, I can see why that did not land itself in the realm of classic video games such as Pole Position and, well, Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and Centipede and all these other ones that I can still remember. Mortal Kombat, yeah, these are all, well, that's way later in the game, I guess, but still, I can see, I guess, now why Burger Time kind of got lost to the sands of video game times. And Texas to Terry in Scotland, when they're about to hang you for horse theft, you got to think fast to talk them out of it. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so Andre, you remember the video game Styx? Well, now, when you say video game, you mean video game. You don't mean pinball machine. And right? And then when you say Styx, do you mean like the river or the band? Because I remember a whole bunch of pinball machines used to be named after bands. Like I can distinctly remember the Journey pinball machine that was in my Value Giant when I was a kid. And then of course the Kiss pinball machine. Okay, so it was like the band, and yes, it was a video game. What was that video game all about? What, you played like air? Was it like a precursor to Guitar Hero or something? I mean, it couldn't possibly be. What was that video game about? Yeah, I don't remember that one. But I do remember the weird one. Was it Galaga or Galaxica or something? I don't know. Do you guys know what video game I'm talking about? I never understood, to this day, I still don't understand how to play it. But it was one of the most popular games in the pizza parlors. I think it was called Galaga. And it was shapes or something. I don't even know. Andre, okay, you had to play a bouncer to keep crowds out of the stadium. Each band member had a stage involving their instrument. And yes, you played Galaga, which then answers my question. Yes, it is Galaga. Could you explain to me Galaga, please? Because I don't... First off, you guys, does everybody else know what the hell I'm talking about when I say Galaga? Okay, first time chat. You know what? I cannot... Nyagaru? Gosh, you know what? I butchered your name, and I'm so sorry, but I'm so stoked that you're here chatting. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. We have let the chatter scatter, and we're talking about video games now, and it looks like you were in on the fun. And, okay, so see, Honda, that maybe explains why I have it crossed in my head. It was Galaxian, or later called Galaga. Okay, so that might be why my brain is crisscrossing the names, because it was actually maybe the same video game. And it was a spaceship shooting game. But I don't know, man. The graphics to my little kid eyes were so confusing with that video game. I did not even understand how to play it. And so, okay, so, all right, here we go. Galaga is a 1981 fixed shooter arcade video game played and developed and published by Namco. In North America, is released by Midway Manufacturing, the sequel to Galaxian. Namco's Google definition. Okay, excellent, awesome. So, Nye, I'm just gonna call you Nye because that's how I'm gonna have to say your name right now, my friend. I don't mean to disrespect your name, but I'm just gonna call you Nye. But Nye is coming in with the facts, throwing down some chatter. This is awesome. This is what the Statterbox crew is here for, is to tell me everything I don't understand, which is everything. So, yes sirree. And we've got, okay, cool. Thanks so much, Nye. I'm so glad you understand. And I'm super stoked that you're here because you are fitting in. And it looks like we've got Greto. Hey, how you doing? First time chatter. And you enjoy pancake, or I enjoy pancakes. Hi there. And, so let's see here. It's good to see everybody. We're talking about video games right now. We are not talking about Halloween. Not yet. No. In fact, when we're talking about Halloween, you will know because on Statterbox at the Cinema, we will be showing movies like Beetlejuice and Coco. But right now, we've just got a troll in the basement, and maybe someone can just bless Greto's little heart right on out of here. There we go. I enjoy pancakes. I think that was a mistake. I think it was a case of the chat moving quickly, and your message probably got clicked on when it was not the intended message. Please forgive that mistake, because that was not that I don't think was, I wasn't the one who did it, but I think that was a mistake. So thanks for coming back. Thank you so much for the patience. Sorry about that. And Andre's coming in with some, Andre's coming in for some, my bad, it was not Keg. Okay, so apparently there was not a video game called Keg. It was called Tapper. Okay. I still think that, it might have been about a keg being tapped. Andre, once again, coming in. Or hey, Nye, if you know, are you familiar with this video game called Tapper? And is it about tapping a keg? And, okay, so it's Rootbeer Tapper. Okay. 1983 released. Tapper puts the player in the shoes of a bartender who must serve eager, thirsty patrons while collecting empty mugs and tips. Interesting. That's hysterical. I don't remember that one at all. What a weird... Yeah, I know, right, Andre? Sure, root beer. Right, exactly. A bartender with root beer. I can honestly say there's nothing about that video game that I remember at all. And let's see here. When your sister, Terry in Scotland, saying when your sister played clarinet in high school, she told your grandmother she needed to buy a lyre for it. Your grandmother answered, "Go get your grandpa. He's a liar." Nice, nice. But actually, Terry, I don't know what an lyre is. What's a liar? I mean, I know what grandpa being a liar is, but what your sister was asking for, what is that? Because I don't actually know what that word means. And I know that that's embarrassing to say, but I'm going to say it. And it's a clip for music notation. Okay. Oh, it's the thing. Okay, I didn't know what the name was for the thing, but I actually know what the thing is called now. It's called a lyre. No, Shock, the kind of lyre that he's talking about is a little bit different. So there you go. Greto, do I like Wendy's? It's okay, I guess. I mean, it's a corporate hamburger chain. I did get some lemonade from Wendy's not too long ago, and it was really tart and not very sweet. And that, to me, is a sign of a good lemonade. So, I don't know, sorta. So let's see here. Yeah, all right then. So, it looks like, what am I trying to do? I am trying to do things and stuff. So there you go. Yeah, so yeah, we're not talking about, yeah, no, thanks, Shock. I was actually trying to get there to do that. It just, didn't have any, I was not doing things well. And Andre is coming in with a good question, but it's a sad question, which is, are there any weak replacements for the Great Zippy's Giant Burger? All right, for those of you who don't know, there was a local burger chain in my neighborhood, owned and operated by a local dude, and it was called Zippy's Giant Burgers, not to be confused with the Zippy's that is in Hawaii. And Zippy the young boy is what that emote is. And so the Zippy's, basically I stole their mascot, and now it doesn't matter because Zippy's had to close down. Their landlord increased their rent by 67%, and there was a lot of other things that were going down. Either way, Zippy's had to close. When Zippy's closed, and Andre, I will be answering your question. This is just the startup to the answer. So right after Zippy's closed, there was this other burger joint just a couple blocks down the street called Boss Burger. And Boss Burger is a subpar burger. Let me just tell you right now, not one Zippy's employee ever went to Boss Burger for a burger, but just about every time I was in Zippy's, I saw someone with a Boss Burger uniform in line waiting for a burger at Zippy's. So, Boss Burger took it upon themselves after Zippy's closed to plaster Zippy's front doors with posters saying, if you're looking for a great local burger, come on down to Boss Burger, blah, blah, blah. Boss Burger's where the best burger's at now, blah, 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 blah. And so someone posted that on the Zippy's Facebook page, and quite literally, if Boss Burger wanted to piss off Zippy's loyal customers more, I don't think they could have. And I think that they effectively, for the future, anybody who saw those posters was just like, oh, heck to the no, Boss Burger. We will never buy any of your So, Boss Burger tried to become a replacement for Zippy's, but yeah, they did not. But what you're really asking is, who filled the space? Who took over the space that Zippy's once was in? No one yet. But scuttlebutt on the street is, it is some major corporate restaurant. And so, this is conjecture. This is based on scuttlebutt. So we all know that what I'm saying is probably not true. Time will tell. But all of us are kind of thinking, oh, The reason why they increased that rent so much was because they wanted Zippy's out so they could get this corporate chain in. Now, I don't know what the chain is. I don't know what's going on. I haven't, because all Zippy's signage is still up, and they're still emptying out the place, so that the new people haven't moved in yet. But you better believe one of the first places that will be announcing whoever it is that's in that Zippy's new place, yeah, I'll be talking right the heck about it. Oh yes, I will be talking about it. And see, Honda, maybe it's Hawaii Zippy's coming in. Dude, that would probably be like the only thing that I would be stoked about. Seriously, that I would just be like, okay, all right, I'm okay. Maybe if an L&L, no, I've got an L&L in my neighborhood. I don't need another L&L. No, I mean, it would have to be Zippy's, and that. Okay, for those of you who don't know, there's a restaurant in Hawaii called Zippy's. The restaurant in Washington that I'm talking about was called Zippy's Giant Burgers. Two different places. But I would like it if Hawaii Zippy's took over for Washington Zippy's, if that's how it happened, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I mean, because we would know if Zippy's was coming to Seattle, right? I mean, Zippy's was coming to, spent years talking about their Vegas location, so like we would know, right? And shock, exactly. There is hope that the new place should fail. I mean, I'm not going to wish that on them yet, but I will say that the particular spot that Zippy's Giant Burgers was in for 14 years was an unsuccessful restaurant spot for the prior 14 years. I mean, restaurants just went in and out of that location, you know, started up, failed, started up, failed, started up, failed. And Zippy's was the only one that was able to hold on to that space for more than 5 years. You know, they were there for 14. And so it's a really crummy location. You know, you really have to bring people to the spot. And so I'm not so sure that we need to hope that the new place will fail, because given the history of the spot, that's kind of almost inevitable. I mean, we'll see. But, you know, let's see here. And Andre, exactly, the L&L in my neighborhood is really easy to get to, so no need for another. And Andre recently, just so you guys might not, those of you who don't know, Andre came up to the Seattle area a few months ago, and he ate at Zippy's twice, Zippy's Giant Burgers twice, before it closed. We didn't know that it was closing at the time. So he got to be one of the last people to, you know, hang out there. And so he's saying, man, a lot of stuff happens across the street from Old Zippy's. That parking lot is really sketchy. Yes, it is. And the reason why that is the parking lot across the street is for DSHS. The DSHS building is that big building that was, you know, further at the end of that parking lot. And so you've got the DSHS, and then you've got a bus station on the other end of that parking lot. So I don't think I need to explain to you what DSHS and a bus station means for an urban community, but yeah, that parking lot is probably one of the sketchiest places in White Center, to tell you the truth. It is one of the few places when I park my car in that lot to go to the drugstore that's there. I actually lock my car door, and I don't lock my car door anywhere. I just don't. There's not much in my car. I'm really not that worried about it. But even though there's not much in that car, and not much in my car, I totally worry about it, because in that particular parking lot, you know, you need to be on your awares. And yes, Andre, you're from Oakland, so you don't, you know, it's like, oh yeah, it's nothing for you, for sure. In fact, you were one of the few people that it was just like, I don't really feel like I need to warn you about anything in White Center, because I feel like anything that's going on in White Center, you've got in San Francisco and Oakland just as much. So like, you know, but some of my friends who are from more rural areas, I definitely am more protective of their experience in White Center, because I had a friend who came out from Indiana, and And literally when we drove through White Center, she was so freaked out. She couldn't help but say everywhere, "This doesn't even look like America. I feel like I'm in a different country." Now, part of the reason why she was saying that is because a lot of the signs are not in English, and if asked the question, well, which country are we in? Are we in Mexico? Are we in Thailand? Are we in Vietnam? Are we in, where are we at, yo? Because all the signs are in different languages. But it's definitely not. It's definitely not something that someone from white bread Midwest Indiana would be used to. White Center is its own. Well, as White Center's motto is, not so white, not so centered. And the real key is not so centered. Because White Center did used to be really white, and when it was really white, it was even worse than it is now. In fact, the immigrants to that community have really built that community up into a much nicer place than it used to be when it was mostly white. So, yeah. So now that I'm done on my little soapbox for White Center, I do want to thank Shock and Rick for hanging in tonight and wielding the swords of no mercy, because it was a little bit busy tonight. It is a little bit busy tonight. But you know what? When the chatter's flowing freely, sometimes people come in, and sometimes people come in and join it like they belonged all the time. And other times, well, yeah. So, so there we go. Yeah. And Andre, yeah, she would have lost it in the Bay Area because by nature, a lot of the names are in Spanish. I know. Well, that's what I couldn't really. I actually wanted to say to her was just like, well, if you look close enough, you'll see that all the languages are different. So to me, this is the most America that America could be, But that's not her norm. And so I wasn't going to get all uppity because that's just not where she's from. And so it was literally to her like it was a foreign experience for her. And so there you go. I have no doubt that some people will enter White Center with that same sense of, whoa, dude. And the reason why I say that is because White Center actually, and I've said this before on the stream, it is the epicenter of the most diverse communities in the state of Washington. More languages are spoke in that neighborhood than any other place in the state of Washington. I believe 68 different languages at last count were regularly spoken and had business owners, etc., that were there. So 68 different languages is quite a melting pot of cultures, and White Center has it all. I mean, from Russian to Ethiopian to Ukrainian to any kind, all the flavors of Mexicans. And I say that knowing that I've just pissed off all of Central and South America. But since I can't name all of Central and South America, even though we've got immigrants from all of those areas, they're from everywhere. So White Center, super awesome. And C Honda, how about a holo holo to the area across Zibby's Burgers? And you say that and you laugh, but you know what? I just might do that. Careful what you ask for, girl. Careful what you ask for. I think that might be a real fun little holo holo. White Center is not a big neighborhood at all. I could probably drive up and down every street in White Center, and the video would be like 15 minutes long, and literally we would have covered every alley and inch of the neighborhood. So, Andre, yes, Laotian does have a White Center video. Yes, he does, and that I think I showed part of it on my stream. Laotian is definitely a great content creator on YouTube. If you guys are interested in learning more about the Seattle area and the various neighborhoods, Laotian does walking tours in them a lot, and he's sort of like Seattle's version of Photo Luke. In fact, the thing that I really don't like about Laotian is every time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do a video like that, then literally like the next day he'll be like, hey, I did a video like that, and it's just like, but I was gonna do a video like that and you just did one better. So that's the only reason why I don't like Laotian, is because he's like in my brain. He's reading my mind. Or maybe I'm reading his, because I probably think of it after he's done the videos, but whatever. Anyway, so It looks like we've got a flippin' flirpin' hype train, and I'm all talking about things and stuff when I should be saying, thank you, Andre. Thank you, C. Honda. Thank you, Darlene. Thank you, Andre, for that gift sub. There we go. Super awesome. We've got that hype train, level 1 finish, level 2 maybe. That's cool. We don't even need to finish the level 2s because level 1s is all that matters, and I'm super stoked that I enjoy pancakes. Got a little bit of a gift sub there, and so now everybody's got the great Zippy's Yum Boy, the Zippy's Yum Boy emote, and the infamous, that's right, the infamous Prel dot, because when somebody's just being silly and you just want them to wash their mouth out, that's what you do. You throw down the Prel dots. That's what you do. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that more people haven't thrown Prel dots at me. But lots of folks are very busy throwing this emote at me, which is exactly why that emote was made. And oh, you never did get to play pinball at Zippy's? That's too bad. But you know, Zippy's, I only think had one or two video. Oh, maybe they had 3 pinball games. But there's a place in White Center that there's a place in White Center called Full Tilt, and they're an ice cream shop, but also a pinball shop. And so maybe next time you can go check out the pinball scene at Full Tilt, and you can get your fill of ice cream. And they serve beer, which is weird, but apparently it's like successful. I don't want beer with my ice cream, but I guess it's for the kids and the parents. I don't know. Andre, oh no, wait. Stream Elements has a stupid joke that I have to repeat because it's stupid and it's funny. What did Romans use to cut pizza before the rolling cutter was invented? Lil Caesars. Just little ones. Exactly, Rick. How fast? It's half fast. That's it. It's not really fast. It's just half fast. And oh, Chuck, thank you so much for those 100 biddies. And let's see here. Andre is telling me that if I ever go down to the Bay Area, there's a pinball bar that serves Hawaiian food and has a bar, and you need to check it out. Yeah, you do. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but pinball and Hawaiian food, I mean, maybe go give us a report. Hi, this is Andre, live at the Hawaiian Pinball Bar Museum. Except for it's not a museum, but I'm here and I'm reporting live. I'm eating their food, it's onolicious. I'm playing their games, they're game-olicious. All right, back to you, Statter. Live at 5 with Andre at the Bay Area, Hawaii place. But that's my impression of if we were a newscast, but we're not a newscast, so there you go. So wait, what? I was confused. So let's see here. Oh, no Lau Lau at LNL yesterday? Well, if it makes you feel any better, Chuck, there's no Lau Lau at the LNL in my neighborhood ever. So you should be lucky that you've got your little Lau Lau as a possibility. And so let's see here. Andre, you're saying it's in the Upper Mission near Bernal Heights. Don't know how to say that, but whatever. Not too far from work. So one Friday, yeah, you should make that report. Exactly. I'm here with a root beer. Yeah, a root beer. I mean, actually, you might have a root beer because I don't think you drink, but still. Oh, shock, they claim Friday and Saturday. Well, yeah, but I guess if it's a temporary item. Okay, now I don't know because I've never been there. But if it's a temporary item or, a limited day offering item, I can only assume that it's like, well, they have it until it's gone, right? And so it's like, well, it's gone now, so we don't have, so yeah, it's Saturday, but they're all gone now. So I'm assuming that that's what happened because I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Andre, you drink, but not root beer. Good choice, because root beer's kind of... Well, I'll tell you what. If we're served root beer, anybody who really likes root beer, come sit next to me. I'll give you mine. Yes. I will give you mine. And Andre, it would be funny if they had that tapper there, that silly video game. Actually, it would be awesome if they did. And if they did, and we know they're not going to, but if they did, you should probably take a picture of it. Because you should probably take a picture of it. And let's see here. Holy crap, C Honda. You saw frozen Lao Lao, 3 of them for $26. 3 times 26, that's like $9 a pop. I mean, not quite $9, but let's just say $9 for one Lao Lao. They better be big, dude. That better be big. That better be big. Andre, people who love root beer love it, but most people do not like it. See, I don't know, man. In my elementary school, kids loved root beer float day. I mean, everybody loved root beer. I was like the only kid in the class who did not like root beer. And I didn't want the root beer. I didn't want the ice cream. I didn't want nothing. And it's just like, I know, I'm a fat girl. I don't like root beer or ice cream. How'd that happen? I don't know how it happened. I just know that I don't like it. And so everybody else can have it. And I'll just sit here going, I wish there was a Coke. Shock, you had root beer floats in school? Well, sort of. Like when you were a little kid, like in elementary school, like, you know, if it was like somebody's birthday party or if like there was some sort of thing that like, you know, the classroom met the goal, the teacher might give you a root beer float party or, you know, and it's some, you know, it was something that the teacher totally paid their own money, you know, to bring 2 liters of root beer and some pixie cups and little thing or whatever. But no, we didn't have root beer floats like as a regular thing. It was definitely just a case of like, hey, the class did something the teacher wanted them to do, and so now everybody gets a root beer float. I mean, it definitely wasn't a common thing. Like it was like maybe a once a year thing. So yeah. It wasn't, but we had chocolate milk too, but the root beer float was not in the cafeteria. The root beer float was celebration time for elementary school kids. So there you go. And right, Darlene, or a pizza lunch. Right, exactly, just like for the class, not for the whole school. Precisely. That was exactly it. And frankly, you know, the fat girl would have preferred a pizza lunch to the root beer floats, but that's fine. Everybody else can have, you know, the root beer float, no big deal. And so, right, okay, so Chuck, you had pizza, right, you had pizza too, and it was a big deal, it absolutely was. So it was that kind of thing with the root beer float. And Andre, you didn't like chocolate milk in school? Well, you know, when I was a kid, my mom, like, you had white milk with every meal. And so for me, like the idea, I mean, when we went to McDonald's, she would make us get milk instead of the soda. That kind of, like, always milk. So for me, like when I was a kid, eating something sweet like a juice or a soda or chocolate milk with your lunch just seemed weird. It was gross. I mean, to this day, actually, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I can drink soda with food. That's one thing. But like chocolate milk, yeah, I'll drink chocolate milk, but not with anything. It's like a meal in and of itself. It's its own treat. You know, chocolate milk's good, but not while you're eating your sandwich. Shock, you remember your first soda? You thought your mouth was gonna explode? Nice. So you like hot chocolate, Andre, even with Quick, but cold milk, but not chocolate milk. Well, I can appreciate that logic, actually, because I'm not a big fan of cold milk with Quick. I mean, I will drink it. But chocolate milk from a carton, from the store, or from the school, totally is a different experience than making chocolate milk at home. And so even though I like one better than the other, you like the other better than the one, I totally see how that happens, because they are different animals, so to speak. And let's see here. C Honda, your rewards in elementary school was those little cups of vanilla ice cream with swirl of chocolate sauce and eat it with wooden spoon. Oh, dude, those were the best little cups. And if it wasn't the little chocolate ripple thing, it was the half orange sherbet, half white ice, half vanilla ice cream, wasn't it? And I miss those things. You know, I mean, I suppose maybe because I don't have kids, I don't go looking for them. But, like, do they still have those little cups at the grocery store with the wooden spoons? Because, like, I like those cups with wooden spoons. I love those little wooden spoons. They're really tasty. I liked those. And it shocked, no doubt, dude. Opening those school cartons was definitely a 1 out of 5 type of fail. It was an open at your own risk kind of thing. Even if you kind of knew what you were doing, it didn't always work. Sometimes that glue was a little too gluey, and it made sure the milk didn't leak. It did its job, I guess. It did its job. All right, and speaking of doing its job, we have got the bottom of the hour now. So chatter scattered from ice cream to root beer floats to pizzas to video games. And of course, it started out with Sizzlin Sunday and that hamburger chat. So I am super stoked that we hung out today and that we welcomed a couple new people that were super awesome. And I'm super stoked that our moderators got rid of a couple people that weren't so super awesome. But the ones that hung around and the ones that were awesome, thank you so much for coming and hanging out, because you were and are awesome. I'm not so sure if everybody's still here on that stream, but it doesn't matter because they're still awesome even if they're here or not. And the ones that aren't here, yeah, that's right, they're not very awesome. So there you go. And exactly, Andre, depression burgers that were not depressing, just gross sounding, like a slug. But whatever, apparently they're not gross like a slug. Apparently they're yummy. There's a festival for them. Alrighty then, we are going to hang out next Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time, and hopefully we'll have something to talk about. And one thing that we can talk about on Wednesday, and this I know for sure, we can decide what movie we're gonna watch on Satterbox at the cinema, because I had a haul at my thrift store this last week, a haul of all sorts of things, and so 5 different movies I got. So, well, okay, but we already saw one of them. So 4 different movies we've got to choose from and to discuss if and when we ever want to see them. All right, then. So that's what's happening Wednesday. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend today or this weekend or tonight or whatever. And yeah, there you have it. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you soon.